Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. There is only a week to go until the start of Season 9 of everyone's favourite electric single-seater series, Formula E. So it's time to don our designer hat and jeans and have a look at the liveries of 2023. We shall go from worst to best, looking at every team competing in Formula E this year, judging their liveries as if I was Nazi collaborator Coco Chanel. Before we start, I will say one thing. The Gen 3 cars are pig ugly. I really don't like this design, and as we are rewatching older series of Formula E on this channel at the moment, go watch those videos and subscribe. The old cars looked better, so perhaps a handicap to the designers, or maybe they can work with these dogs and make art. Let's find out. Jaguar TCS Racing. I made a big mistake last year. I said I always liked the Jaguar colours, but they went way overboard with sponsor logos, and I even hoped they'd make big changes for 2023. So this might be all my fault, and I apologise. This Jaguar livery is terrible. Ooh, it's asymmetrical. So what? It looks awful. It's the same livery Dragon had a couple of years ago. Formula E has always been blighted with a number of cars having a black and white livery. We have moved away from that in 2023, which is a good thing, except Jaguar, who have taken up the two-tone mantle and presented this abomination for 2023, the worst livery on the Formula E grid. Mahindra Racing. I liked last year's Mahindra livery, mostly because they copied the red from Ferrari. This year they've tried to steal Techeetah's livery. It hasn't worked. This looks like a cheap copy, which it basically is. Techeetah aren't even cold in the ground, and Mahindra bloodily ripping them off makes me miss the former champions. It's not the only gold livery on the grid, but the dull bronzy gold colour is really off-putting and the whole car just looks a bit plain. Plagiarism doesn't win prizes. Avalanche Andretti. This Andretti just looks unfinished. The side pods are in desperate need of something, plain red with an ugly white band. I suppose it's better than the sash they had last year. Andretti have much better liveries in other series. For some reason they just never bring their A game to Formula E. Much boring, moving on. Neo 333 Racing. I have seen people raving about this livery and how it alone is going to turn Neo's fortunes around. It's not going to, and also I really don't like it very much. I still consider Neo to have the trophy for ugliest car in Formula E history for the toilet duck inspired entry from a couple of years ago, and this is better than that, much better in fact. But it looks like a livery from the 90s and not a good one. It looks a bit cheap, like some second-rate outfit that always finishes down the bottom of the standings. Neon McLaren. So this is McLaren's first entry into Formula E, and they have gone for uniform livery between their Formula 1, Extreme E and Formula E entries. In fact, it's not that different from their IndyCar entries. They get points for being the only orange car on the grid, and I'm sure they'll be easy to pick out in the pack. I like this less than the Formula 1 car because it has too much black on this livery. It could have looked a little more interesting, but the orange and blue is a little sparse looking, and this doesn't give me a lot of hope for their Formula 1 entry, which we will be looking at later this year. I would rate this livery as okay. Apt Cupra. We've seen this livery before. In fact, Cupra use it elsewhere, but it doesn't really showcase Apt's return to Formula E since leaving with Audi a few years ago. I really like the early Audi liveries, but they got worse as time went on. I do like the Cupra livery. It's very modern and minimalist. It's really the one livery on this list that looks better here than it does on its counterparts in other series. Nissan Formula E team. Well, this is better than Nissan normally do. They've had some dull liveries, and this is a huge step up. It is probably the way Andretti should have gone instead of their awful livery, but it's the cherry blossom design which is a real standout here. It looks good, and is obviously traditional of their Japanese roots. But, and this is a very big but, the early concept of this livery, which was full cherry blossom, was so much better and would have been number one by far on this list. This stripped back version is decent, but oh, it could have been so much better. And the thing that gets me is why. They have no other sponsor logos on the car, other than a shell logo. Just do the cherry blossom thing, Nissan, god damn it. Tag Heuer Porsche. A massive upgrade for Porsche. They usually have a very dull corporate friendly livery and they stuck to it for 3 years. Now this is similar in many ways, but they have made it look a bit more dramatic. It does look good and it fits with Porsche's identity. They may be on the move up in the design department, or they'll just have this for the next 3 years. Maserati MSG Racing. This was always going to be a big deal, Maserati's return to racing. So this is their first Formula E livery. It looks great, I love it. A really nice shade of blue. Now again, there is an early concept that looks better, but it's only a small difference. If I had one complaint, too much black along the side of the car. Why couldn't the side also be blue? But still, this is a very good first effort from Maserati and nothing less than I would expect from the Italian brand. DS Penske. So taking over the gold and black from Techeetah is their former partner DS and Penske. It looks fantastic and I wonder if they can be as successful as Techeetah have been. I wonder if Techeetah return will have the same livery. But if they do, they'll be hard pressed to do better than this. A brilliant gold X pattern on black with all the sponsor logos spaced nicely along the car. A very good effort from DS Penske. Envision Racing. This was the best livery of 2022 and it is also the best livery of 2023. Very few changes, but it still looks great. A perfect blend of green and blue. The Envision is by far the best looking car on the grid, and bonus points for being the only green car too. It's interesting that they have Jaguar power, and therefore Jaguar represent the best and worst of the liveries in Formula E in 2023. Now if Envision turn up again with this livery in 2024 and make a few changes, then we may have to have words. But for now, Envision have done good. Again. So that is every Formula E team and their livery for 2023. What are your thoughts on these liveries? Let me know down below. As I said at the beginning, the season starts in just a week's time in Mexico, and there will be a predictions video as per usual next week. So make sure you subscribe for that. I'll watch the whole season and there will be a lot more to come from Formula E. Thank you for watching and have a good one.